finishing point. Okay, now if all you wanted was something like this, it would be okay at that point to erase these lines. However, we've already drawn them, we might as well turn them into something else. So while you're at it, let's repeat the same skill. If you think you can do that without any of my help, then pause this video now and try it without watching my video. Then when you're done, push play and follow along and see how it went. If you don't feel comfortable with that yet, just keep watching and following along. I'm going to repeat the same steps from the beginning using these converging lines. So I'm going to chop the form again back here. It's getting a little small, so I hope you can see okay. Horizontal. All right, and vertical. Now, if I went ahead and colored these red, it would look like I have two neighboring buildings touching one another. So that's a really great skill to have if you wanted to draw a picture of a train or stacked blocks of some kind, or buildings that are side by side. But maybe what you really want is a gap between them. Instead of leaving them connected, I want you to try another set of chops right here. Don't just freehand it though. If you get lazy and freehand it, it's gonna really show and you're not gonna like the end result. So you might as well keep clean lines and go ahead and try it out this way. This part's a little tricky. So chopping looks the same. Green line, that's my horizontal. Now it's time for a vertical. The vertical is blue. And then I told you I was creating two separate buildings, so I'm going to go ahead and finalize those converging lines and let you see them more solid by putting some red on them. And now we're going to just look at this gap. This gap, if left alone and then maybe colored in, it would look like a third building, something small in between. I want to create an actual gap. So you can already probably tell I need to erase those converging lines that are going between. But something still isn't right. It looks very incomplete. I think if you looked at it long enough, you'd realize instinctively maybe what one of the pieces of the puzzle is, but oftentimes students can't tell me what the second one is. I'm going to show you real quick what you'd do. This should be a square, just like this is a square. That means I can kind of follow this pattern and put the pieces of the puzzle back here. So what happens at the front left side corner? It goes down, straight down as a vertical. So I'm going to do a vertical back in the back. Okay, what's going on at the bottom of the form in the front? It's going across horizontally. I need that green piece there. That's what's going to complete our illusion. That's usually the one students have a little trouble like noticing, or they can't quite figure out at the beginning what it is that's missing. So you need your horizontal in the back to complete that form. All right, we have a nice little gap. That could be an alleyway for someone to walk through or whatever, if you want to shade it in to make it kind of match this, just to re-emphasize that pattern. That's not a bad idea. All All right, so now could I continue this concept and make more buildings? Absolutely I could, but I'm going to go ahead and erase this to clean up that space. And now I want to show you the same thing on these spaces. They're exactly the same sequence. I'm going to do it with no tool, so these are going to be very sloppy, but I want you to see I'm doing exactly the same thing. So here is a rectangle. I'm not even going to do a square, similar enough though it won't matter. I'm going to converge the corners to the vanishing point. Okay, same thing we did before. I'm going to chop the form. I'll do it back here since I have some writing. So vertical to match the front vertical. Horizontal between these two converging lines to match the front horizontal. So there's a tall, skinny, long building or form. Can do the same thing, continuing back, chopping the form, erasing extra, clean up my mess there a little bit, and I'll go ahead and darken this part of the line. All right, what am I missing? It's that one part I said was probably the trickiest. I need to go ahead and go across with a little horizontal and a little vertical. Now I have the front side of that building done, or whatever you want to call that side of that form, and then I have that same matching side here. So the dimensions were different, height versus width proportions were different than this one, but it still works. Yours might look like this over here. I don't care which one you got. Play around with it. Now, here's the thing I want to leave you with. It's a better challenge. If you can do this and it's no problem for you, then you need to do it upside down. So that just means draw a square or a rectangle in the sky. Again, I really want to see you guys using your tools because your learning is going to add up to an assignment eventually that's much more complex, and I want your stuff to be great. To keep this tutorial short, I'm just freehanding a little bit sloppier. Okay, I did my horizontals and verticals. I converged the corners to the vanishing point. Now I need to chop the form. Vertical chop to match the front, horizontal chop to match the front. Okay, so I'm keeping this, whoops, a little sloppy, keeping that. I could fit another one. I've got the word vanishing point coming out of there, so I'm going to stop doing that for your sake so you don't have to see a mess over here. And let's just do one more kind of weirder shaped one. I'm going to go like really wide. So I always start with horizontals and verticals. So these are my verticals. Here are my horizontals, making it just a flat, skinny one. Okay. What do I do next? You should know the sequence by now. I'm going to my vanishing point with my converging lines. Connect them all the way down. I have to turn this to get the angle. Sorry guys, it's a little tough when you freehand it. Okay, and then I'm going to chop the form. Match the front, don't get lost. Match the front. This one's awkward. The more close you get to the vanishing point, like when you're dialing over real near to it, it gets awkward. But that's all right, it's not wrong. Pick up the front, move it to the back so that it matches. You want those to be as parallel as you can. All right, so I got this flying pizza box thing. And next thing I want to do is create one more super fast to show you what this gap looks like in the sky. Horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical to match, keeping my converging lines. Looks like an open book in the sky. Okay, now as I erase these gaps, I'm going back to finish the top. So horizontal, horizontal, vertical, vertical. There's that pattern again. I'm going to color code everything so you can see I'm still playing by the same rules. I haven't added any new information. It's the same sequence for the most part. A couple parts got a little different, but I almost always do the same sequence. Usually I start with the front flat side facing me, the shaded side you see here. I usually start with that and then I extend to the vanishing point. So that's always a great plan to do. There's that front side I'm talking about. Okay, once I have my verticals and horizontals, I do the converging lines. So here's my horizontals. Okay, well, I'll get back to that. Okay, converging lines go all the way to the vanishing point. I'm just going to highlight the part that I kept in the end. And then, of course, finish the back with a chop. So more horizontals to match the front. And more verticals to match the front. Alright, I think I got everything colored in. Guys, that's it. Crazy thing is, this whole picture could go any direction and it still looks 3D. Again, we're going to explore a lot of fun options like fantasy images, things that are more sci-fi. Our pictures are actually not going to make a whole lot of sense in reality because I like to bend the rules of reality when we're drawing in perspectives because it still works. So yeah, that's it, guys, for today. Focus on making sure you can draw not just one cube, but maybe two in a row with a gap in the middle from every point of view using 1-point perspective. If you can get that down, you could do so much in perspective. So watch this video and retry, pause, go at your own pace, whatever you need to do. Next time I see you in class, we'll see how it went. Don't forget to upload your photo at the end and send it to me. So you're going to take a photo of your work and you're going to send me how it turned out. I want to see if you struggled, if you did all right, if you got most of it or part of it. Don't forget that piece of the puzzle. You guys are going to rock this. I can't wait to see what you do.